I have a cubic equation here. Cubic because the highest power is a 3 here. And you might notice that my cubic equation is written in the format where it equals 0, because just like a quadratic equation where the highest power is 2, we're probably going to use the 0 rule here. So I have it equal to 0. If they want me to solve for the missing number, well, I'm going to expect 3 solutions. That doesn't mean all 3 have to be different, but I'm definitely going to expect x equals, x equals, x equals. Just like in a quadratic, I'd expect 2 solutions. So how do we start this? Well, we're going to guess a root, which is usually not the method I would start with. Like sometimes I would encourage guessing to, maybe to start off with, but you could be guessing for a long time. And if we're in an exam situation, it's not always the best method, but it's actually one of the only things that I can do here. So in order to make it fair, they will usually make one of the roots be x equals 1, or it could be 2 or 3. It'll be one of those, or minus 1, or minus 2, or minus 3. So I'm going to start off and guess these ones. I mean, if it's not one of these, I'll probably end up doing like what I do in a quadratic. I look at the factors of 60 and I might guess like 10 or minus 10 or 6 or minus 6. But again, this seems like it might take me a while to guess. So I'm going to just start off. I'm going to see, if I can come up with a faster method, great. But I'm just going to see that could x possibly be 1? Is that one of the solutions to this particular equation? And I'm going to just throw it in. So x cubed minus 9x squared plus 8x plus 60. Does that give me 0? So 1 cubed is 1 minus 9 times 1 squared is 9 plus 8 plus 60. Does that give me 0? No, it doesn't. So not a root. So maybe I can check x equals minus 2. If x is equal to minus 2, well then, maybe I have at least one of my answers there. So that'd be 2 cubed minus 9 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2 plus 60. Does that give me 0? Well, throw it into the calculator and see. It would be great if I could find a faster way than this. Like, if I have knowledge of another topic, maybe I can find a faster way. If not, the slow way is fine. It is fine. It just takes time. And it gets boring. So I could keep just trying 3 next, maybe minus 1 next, minus 2 next, etc. But because I have knowledge of a different topic here, and this is why it's good to try and realize that, algebra is in functions, it's in loads of different topics. So can I use functions to help speed this up for me? So I have an x cubed minus a 9x squared plus 8x plus 60. Do we want to start at 1? No, let's start at minus 3, like I said, and go all the way up to 3. So minus 3, all the way up to 3. Now you can go up further if you want. Do I want to go up in steps of 1? Like, do I want to go up in whole numbers for my x's or halves? Whatever you want. I'm going to go up in whole numbers. And I see this as my answer. Now, if you think about it, we looked at this the other day. If I had a cubic, remember I'm looking for the y value to be 0. So that might be like minus 3, 0. That would be 1, 0. That would be 5, 0. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the y coordinate to be 0. So there we have one. So when x is minus 2, y is 0. That means I have a root there. Excellent. Now, is there any other one that I found? I could be all day looking this way as well. No. Okay, so at least I have one though. So x is equal to minus 2. That is definitely one of my answers, which is great. So I have one of my answers. how can I use that to find the other roots? Well, you could stop the video now if you think you might have an idea of where to go from here and just fast forward to the end. If I have a root, then I automatically have a factor. What can I do with that factor? I can do some long division. What do I multiply x by to give me x cubed? X squared. Multiply that by this. I end up with x cubed plus 2x squared. And I subtract. That's x cubed minus x cubed. Grand. It's a minus 9x squared minus a plus. Now what's a minus and a plus? It's a minus. So minus 9x squared minus 2x squared is minus 11x squared. And I take down the rest of my sum, and my method is repeated now over and over. So what do I multiply x by to give me a minus 11x squared? A minus 11x. I multiply this by this. And I end up with minus 11x squared minus 22x. And I subtract. Again, minus 11x squared minus 11, well, minus plus. So minus 11x squared plus 11x squared is gone. And I have a plus 8x minus a minus 22x. Well, a minus and a minus is a plus. And that together gives me 30x plus 60. And I go one more time. What do I multiply x by to give me a 30x? It's plus 30. And that times this is 30x plus 60. And I subtract. And I end up with a remainder of 0. What does this mean now? It means that, okay, I knew this was a root, so I knew this was a factor. If I divide a factor into something, so like if 5 is a factor of 40, when you divide it in, you will get the other factor. What can I do with this now? I can solve that. So at the minute, that's my root, and that's one of my factors, and that's my other factor. These two factors together multiply out to give you that cubic. So that's what all this is. This is just a method. Don't care about this part. I got a remainder of 0, so I know these two are factors that multiply to give this. What does that mean down here? Well, I let each factor equal 0. Now I had the x is equal to minus 2, so that's not a problem or nothing new. But here's my other factor. Does that look familiar? It should. X minus 5 is one factor. X minus 6 is the other one. 0 rule here again. X is equal to 5. And x is equal to 6. And there's all 3 roots. 1, 2, 3. So I found this one by guessing. And all the rest of this then was logical thinking. So what are the skills that were necessary? Being able to solve a quadratic is a necessary skill here. Being able to do long division is a necessary skill here.